This honestly is one of the most beautiful properties, I think. Hello, I'm Kimberley Rose, the Director of Wellness for COMO Shambhala Estate. What we found really works best for the guest is to do a more all-encompassing approach. The property it's a place that you really have to experience. We really kind of pride ourselves on is giving people the tools to learn, certain concepts. Because I think a lot of times people think like, oh, wellness retreat food, which is, as you know now, really far from the truth. They're eating, but their bodies are actually starving because they're so hungry because the food that they're eating is not nourishing them.
Hey, Kimberley.
Hi.
Thanks very much for taking some time to chat with me.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe first, actually, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and what you do and where we are.
Okay. Hello. I'm Kimberley Rose, the Director of Wellness for COMO Shambhala Estate. Hopefully you can see some of the stunning background behind us. It's only a small portion of what we have to offer here. And yeah, I've been lucky enough to meet Michael and do an interview to let you know more about what we offer for wellness.
Sure. So I suppose with that, we've had a consultation ourselves and I learned a bit about it, but it'd be great if you could explain a little about how COMO approaches wellness. What's the sort of philosophy behind it?
So we really take an integrative approach. So we have what we call integrated wellness programs here, whereby we really focus on meeting the individual where they are and not really fitting them into a box. You'll notice a lot of other properties will have very specific retreats. What we found really works best for the guest is to do a more all-encompassing approach. So we cover many of the aspects that other properties may cover, from weight loss, detox, sleeping, anxiety, stress, even aesthetic purposes. But we don't put you in a box of which one you kind of have to choose from. With the specialists we have here, including myself, and we have an Ayurvedic doctor as well, we kind of piece together what each individual needs, and our programs are very bespoke in that sense.
And so that all starts with the initial consultation?
Of course, yep. We send all of our integrated wellness program guests a very kind of detailed, we call it a wellness lifestyle assessment, just to see where they're at and what goals they're wanting to achieve while they're here. And then once they're on property, we go through that as we did yesterday. Very in-depth consultation. Myself and my background is in Chinese medicine, so I take more of that approach, whereas if people are more interested in Ayurvedic, they may choose to go with Dr. Prasant and do more of an Ayurvedic approach. But at the end of the day, we're both overlapping days, so many times each of us will see each guest, just to really get all the bases covered and offer our guests everything that we have to offer.
Yeah, personally I found the session with you really useful and insightful.
Awesome.
So one thing I've noticed since being here is that it's quite a relaxed approach. And actually when I met one of the other guests, they said you really recharge your batteries here.
Yes.
It's really energizing, and the environment's not sort of stressful, or it's not pushing you to do too much of one thing or another.
Right.
So I suppose how should people think about coming here to do a wellness retreat? What should they expect from a 3-day, 5-day, 7-day time spent here on an integrated wellness retreat?
Yeah, I think obviously the longer the better. We can't expect tons of results in just 3 days, but that's not to say 3 days isn't very beneficial. I think also the property in and of itself, and just sort of checking out of your everyday busy life and coming here is in and of itself very healing. For me, the first time I came to this property, it's almost like tangible, that you can feel almost instantly, just like
With the natural spring.
Yes,
I went down
Kadara,
there,
yeah.
the Kadara, that's magical down
Yes,
there.
yeah, no, this property, I always say this to, people like yourself or other travel agents that come, that, it's very hard to do this property justice with the pictures on the website, although they're very beautiful. The property it's a place that you really have to experience. And within that, of course, when you're here, it's very easy to be, well, you know, we're providing the, you know, the wellness cuisine, which hopefully we'll get to talk more about, and all the treatments. But what we really kind of pride ourselves on is giving people the tools to learn, you know, certain concepts here that they can take with them at home. And then we're also quite diligent in following up with our guests and seeing, you know, how they're doing, you know, maybe a month out, a few months out, just to check in and make sure, you know, any questions that they have, or sometimes people need that little reminder that, oh yeah, I was, you know, doing this whole wellness thing, and that reminder of their time back at the estate.
Yeah, so I mean, I've already felt that I'm learning things here, and I've only been here a few days. So
great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And what sort of, I mean, I've done a few of the different activities around.
Yeah.
And I suppose, like you say, it varies on the goal. But what sort of
Sure.
Activities might someone be doing for their wellness while they're staying here?
Yes, sure. So we have quite, as you've seen, quite a variety of wellness classes each day. So, and our founder, Mrs. Ong, was very, you know, kind of started out in the yoga way back before all this was kind of cool. You know, she's kind of really spearheaded this whole wellness. You know, COMO's kind of always been at the forefront of this. So we offer Pilates, yoga, group classes, as well as privates. Myself, I'm teaching Qigong. We have a healing hydrotherapy pool. We have the Kedar. Good. Yeah, so we get lots of compliments about that class. And then we have obviously the gym. So for people that are wanting more like fitness, more intense workouts, we can also offer that. So of course we have personal training as well. And then we also have the rice field walk and bike rides, which are also, hopefully you'll get a chance to try some.
I did the rice field walk yesterday morning.
Right, which is great, and it's also a bit of like a cultural experience too, not just.
Yeah, you walk through the local village and you see all of the houses which have each got their own family temple.
Yeah,
quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we offer, you know, quite an array of things, and then people that are wanting, you know, to maybe take it to the next step, of course, always have the option to do more personalized one-on-one trainings.
Cool. And so obviously you mentioned the healthy nutrition,
Yes.
Which I've been experiencing and have been loving it.
Yes.
You do not want for anything.
Great.
You
That's
really,
the idea.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would confess to not having the best diet back home, but yeah, I couldn't have imagined how much, how satisfied I feel on this kind of a diet. So yeah, maybe if you can explain a bit more about that and how it works.
Yeah, and good point. Thank you for saying that, because I think a lot of times people think like, oh, wellness retreat and wellness cuisine is, you know, they have this image in their head that they're gonna just be eating like raw vegetables and flavorless food, which is, as you know now, you know, really far from the truth.
It's
is that
not true.
Yeah, we have amazing chef and menu, and again, the founder is, you know, very much into wellness and nutrition. And I think it's important, we don't really like fit people into a box here. We kind of take the proponents of like healthy eating and nutrition, and whether they're vegan or vegetarian, we have options for that. If they are, you know, meat eaters, and we also obviously have, you know, free range hormone-free meats that we can offer. And then the newer kind of wellness cuisine is very much kind of at what we call like anti-inflammatory in nature. So we've removed a lot of the kind of triggers for a lot of like digestion, bloating, any kind of, you know, skin stuff that, you know, not always, but for the majority of people, once we remove these foods, the body begins to heal. So on our wellness menu, you won't find any gluten, no dairy, no soy, sugar, obviously, corn. And, you know, once again, once we remove a lot of people from these foods, that their body naturally begins to heal and feel
Heal from the inside, yeah. But yeah, what I like as well is this sort of feeling that it's not really restrictive. Because I know some places it's a slightly more restrictive approach.
Sure.
Whereas here you feel, you know, happy, satisfied. Well, I actually felt overfull a couple of times. I thought, you know, I need to stop. It's, you know, it's so, you know, plentiful. and healthy and delicious.
Yeah, well, and I think on that note, a lot of, especially in, where I'm from, this America and Canada, we have this, the standard American diet, which I think the acronym for that is hilarious, that it's a sad diet. Because it really is. But we have, a lot of people that are, quite overweight, and they're eating, but their bodies are actually starving because they're so hungry because the food that they're eating is not nourishing them, right? So, again, these meals are very wholesome. We have an amazing cookbook that was also created by Mrs. Ong. And just, again, I think you said it, words that are basically what COMO Shambhala really stands for, is that wellness is an inside job, and that, yes, we need to eat well, we need to breathe well, we need to move well, we need to think well. It's not just one isolated component, but we kind of bring all that together.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I've noticed as well, say, there's different restaurants, and we have sort of Indonesian local specialties as well.
Yeah.
And so even people who are not on the wellness menu can enjoy other types of food, but they're all, I've sensed, kind of done in quite a clever way still, so they're still quite healthy.
Yeah,
even
I mean,
if it's
to be
not
fair,
only
even
restrictive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even our bed and breakfast guests that are not doing the wellness program, of course, they're welcome to have the wellness menu, and some of the items on the wellness menu are also on the kind of standard menu. But all in all, and again, from our founder, that the cuisine is, even if it has some of the culprits on there that we were talking about yesterday, if somebody doesn't have a lot of issues in their body, then they're not going to be causing that many problems. So the food, just bar none, is really, across all of the restaurants here, is really next level.
Yeah, and I love that when you have, say, the fruit, it's grown locally on the estate as well. Moving on from the nutrition and on to some of the other concepts that you were teaching me yesterday, you were talking a lot about how sort of Eastern philosophies, Chinese medicine, influence a lot of what you do here. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I think that's back to this holistic approach, and not, I always say the basic difference between Eastern and Western medicine is this idea of holism versus reductionism. Not to say that one is better or worse than the other, it's just a different way of kind of looking at things. So, myself with my background in Chinese medicine, and then, we have Dr. Prasanth with the Ayurvedic, is there's a lot of, layover in those two modalities, but we're really looking at many aspects of the person's well-being, right? Not just the physical symptoms they're presenting with. We're going to ask about emotional well-being, obviously sleeping, eating, and getting like a very well-rounded view of where the person is at, and looking to kind of treat all of those while they're here, not just kind of focusing on one, if that makes sense.
It does. I actually realise now you say it that that's kind of what you did in our consultation yesterday, because you asked me a lot of questions, and then what I thought was happening, and kind of almost looked for different signals from that, I think. And then you said, well, actually, what you're seeing here might actually be from this or this.
Right.
And it was quite enlightening.
Good. Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm biased and quite passionate about Chinese medicine, but mostly because it's so simple to understand, and the 10-15 minutes of me kind of sketching that out for you is like, oh, there's a couple light bulbs that will go on for people, I think, and that can be revolutionary in and of itself, to just, make that minor shift in perception of, oh, maybe my skin isn't just all about my skin, or maybe my headaches aren't just being caused by stress, might be food or other intolerances that we kind of decipher through our diagnosis.
What I'm sort of learning here is there are sort of so many other factors kind of from within that can affect things that you might be seeing on the surface.
Correct.
So there's definitely a lot of lessons that I'm going to take home from it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, is like these symptoms, that arise, is they're very much people's bodies trying to get their attention, right? It's not like, oh, I have a headache, let's take a painkiller, pain medicine or something. Of course, to do that once in a while is totally fine, but these people that have chronic headaches, just using that as an example, taking pain medicine every day. Sure, their headache goes away after they take it, but why is it coming back in the first place? That there's like an a root cause of
it's
this
an indicator
concern.
of
Yes.
the concern.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, I don't think that there's a right or wrong with Western approaches either. But,
No, of course.
But from my own experience, we definitely often only treat the symptom
Yeah.
and not necessarily diagnose and sort and cure the original cause.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, another good point is our mission and vision in COMO Shambhala is really to inspire this commitment to lifelong well-being, right? So within that, we always meet people where they are. We don't, we have people that come here that have been on a wellness journey for years and years and years, and other people that are, even brand new to yoga and just getting started. So obviously we're gonna open arms and welcome everybody to COMO Shambhala Estate, and really just work with them where they are and give them the tools that they can use to really continue their wellness journey, because it should be a journey, right? And it's always changing and evolving, but even just learning these basic principles will always kind of bring them back to well-being, wellness. COMO Shambhala really evolved organically from an intimate yoga studio in Singapore into an award-winning wellness concept found in 14 COMO hotels and resorts and properties across 9 countries and 4 continents. So, and we're growing. I think we are going to be opening 2 more properties. So, so the Shambhala in itself in Sanskrit means peace. So we're kind of allude to this pursuit of balance and kind of advocating these holistic wellness principles that are combined with modern science and the ancient practices. We're really meeting that person where they're at and designing very bespoke programs. So if one person comes and wants to focus on weight loss and the other one wants to focus on, aesthetics and, just looking and feeling, more beautiful, then great, we can really help either in both of those people. And then the logo is really quite special, I think, and really beautiful story behind it. So the spiral kind of represents your thumbprint. So, and just like your thumbprint is unique to you, that journey to wellness is also, a unique experience, right? And people don't come here and we make them well, right? It is something that they need to do themselves. We can provide them with the tools, but it is kind of this inside job that people are working, again, coming to this space, being in the right environment. It's very helpful to kind of act as kind of like a launching pad, but it is sort of this journey and this self kind of discovery and unique to each person.
It makes a lot of sense now. It's a clever logo.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah.
And so the teardrop on the outside represents like a transformative environment. Like I just said, like you're coming here. I've been to many properties in Bali. I've been to many properties across the world. I know I'm completely biased in saying this, but I hear it from our guests as well that this honestly is one of the most beautiful properties, I think. I know there's many, but this is top of the list
It really
globally,
is.
and you can't really put that in a picture, because there is an element here that is, it's almost like tangible in the air.
Yeah, it is, and
yeah.
I was thinking, sat last night looking around and thinking, Bali, if anyone's been here, it's quite a busy place actually. There's a lot of scooters and a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It's very popular, but here it's just a complete oasis, and you could barely see any lights other than what's going on in the resort. It's really a
and
pristine
then like
sort of
the
spot.
unobstructed views, is also very rare. Some people have views, but you're like staring at other villas or hotels. But yeah, it's very
just the river down below.
Yeah.
Snaking away.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unless there's anything else.
No, thanks so much.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Okay, awesome.
I'll turn it
Thanks
off.
for